Hello guys, today we'll be reviewing the Marvels. First of all, I have to say that this video will have spoilers, so if you care about that, I recommend watching the movie first and then coming back and seeing this video. But if you don't care about spoilers, or maybe you don't even care about the movie, continue watching it, but I advise that this will have spoilers. Well, let's start with the positives, and with what I believe is the best part of the film, Iman Belani. I for one have to say that I really liked her Miss Marvel show. I mean, it had a lot of problems with the story and with the villains, but Iman was great all the way through, and her charisma on and off screen is very contagious. So for me, it wasn't a surprise that I liked her as much as I did, but to be honest, I really think that she elevated the material that she had. I mean, I'm going to talk later about some missed opportunities, and there was one very big missed opportunity of something that they could and maybe should have done with her character. And also, maybe she was a bit extra in some scenes, and that maybe didn't gel that well with the rest of the movie, but I digress. She was a great addition to the movie, and her charisma really elevated the film. Another thing that I liked, and I think that I was in the minority, were the trailers for this film. And I know that this is a movie review, but the reason why I'm saying this is because I like the tone of the movie trailers. I like the fun, colorful vibe that they had. It kind of reminded me of the first time that I watched the trailer for Thor Ragnarok. And I know that that's a trailer and we're talking about the movie, but the reason why I'm saying this is because sometimes the movie has that tone, and I really liked it when that happened. But again, I'm trying to be positive here. I think that I would have liked the movie way more if it had a tone more similar to the trailers. But anyways, I really liked the vibe, and I really liked the tone and the colors of the trailers. And the movie had it sometimes. I wish it had it more, but it had it sometimes. One of the things that I really liked about the movie, but more in theory than in practice, was how they changed places between each other while they were fighting. I like this because it seemed like a very nice reference to the old Captain Marvel and Rick Jones. And when I saw the trailers, I really wanted to watch it happen in the movie. But to be honest, in the movie, it was a bit of a mess. It was cool at first, but I really think that it would have been way better if there were only two people that were changing places. Because with three, it was a bit hard to really notice when they were changing and not be confused. Also, the editing could have been better. But anyways, this was something that I liked in theory, and the scene that happens in Kamala Khan's house is great. So that's a positive. Another point which I know is very controversial is the cat scene. The scene in which they use the Flerkens to save the SHIELD operatives. But to be honest, as you can see, it's in my positives, because I really enjoyed it. I actually found it funny, between how stupid it honestly was, mixed with the cat's music and the fact that it never ended. I actually laughed a lot, so that's one of my positives. Another of the movie's best parts is the cast, which, like I said before with Iman Belani, elevates the movie a lot. When we go into the negatives, we're going to talk a bit about the writing. But I honestly think that with what they are giving, the actors are absolutely elevating the performance, and I also think that the chemistry between the actors is phenomenal. I really hope that someday we can see all three of them share screen again with a better story. Okay, so now we have to start talking about the bad parts of the movie. Okay, first of all, I have to say that I haven't watched any other Zawe Ashton's movies, and I really think that, like the rest of the cast, she did the best that she could with the role, but I think that she was very miscast. By which I mean that sometimes you have characters like Hela that appear and you can immediately tell that they are supposed to be the bad guys, not really because of their look, which maybe helps, but more because they have like an innate charisma to them. Or I'm going to give you an example, because I've heard that some people were saying that what she lacked was the physical presence, but that's not entirely true, because even though Loki has a lot of fangirls, for example, he's not really intimidating in a typical manner. He's intimidating more in a psychological aspect. But Dar-Benn, and I know that a lot of people have forgotten her name, which is really a bad sign, but Dar-Benn really doesn't have that. She, unfortunately, and I honestly don't know how to blame, if it's Zawe's fault or maybe the directors, or maybe a mix between both, but she really doesn't have that same type of charisma that someone like Hela or like someone like Loki has. Also, I wasn't really going to mention it, but her plot is exactly the same as the one from Spaceballs. But really, she had a very interesting backstory, and I really think that with a better backstory, we could have had a way better villain. When I watched WandaVision, I really enjoyed Monica, and I was really excited for the future of her character. But honestly, like I said before, and this is going to be something that I say about the whole movie, although I like the actors and I think that she did a great job with what she was given, her character was surprisingly one note. I was actually excited to see the confrontation between her and Carol, and to actually learn what happened when her mother died. But honestly, she was pissed about this the whole movie. At the end, she forgave Carol, and I guess that was great for her character, but as an audience member, I was expecting more, maybe more drama, maybe to actually learn what Carol was doing that day. And honestly, it's super sad that the most memorable part of her character, and to be honest of the whole movie, is what happens to her at the end, which we'll talk about a little bit later. To be honest, I'm sure that there's a longer cut that explores Monica's and Carol's relationship more in depth. This is something that I wasn't sure if I should include in the bad aspects of the film, because it's not something that I really consider to be bad, but it was just super distracting. I actually prefer Bree's new, more quirky personality, but it's super distracting. Most of the movie when she was acting and she was so quirky and so cat lady-like, I couldn't help myself from thinking of the behind the scenes drama and thinking about how this change was clearly made because of the fan backlash. So although I like the change, at the same time it was distracting from the movie as a whole. The thing is that if I said that Carol's new personality was distracting, I really don't know how to call Samuel L. Jackson's new personality. I mean, he acted completely different. And not only that, but also this movie completely nullifies the points of the Skrulls during Secret Invasion. I mean, we could clearly see that there was a Skrull planet, but if Secret Invasion happened prior to this, then why is Nick Fury suddenly so happy? Then where is his wife? Then why aren't the Skrulls in that planet? Also, they are supposed to be shapeshifters, they could go to any planet they want. I mean, at this point, it would be easier to say that Secret Invasion wasn't canon, or that it was something that happened after the Marvels. But right now, this was very confusing. And like I said before, Samuel L. Jackson's personality is completely different, so that's a very negative point. Oh, and also, why the fuck were the cans in space? There was really no point to be in space. And Nick Fury taking them was super stupid because they were put in more danger than before. I imagine that this was only to keep them around for comedic reasons, but they don't really fit with the tone of the film. I mean, it's weird that I'm even talking about the tone of the film, because this film has a lot of different tones. You have the absurd scenes, like the musical, which I think was a wasted opportunity. You also have the absurd scenes, like the Flirkens, or when Monica tries to save Miss Marvel. But then you also have this forced drama, because they didn't even do a great drama, between Monica and between Carol. And then you have this sitcom style humor coming from the Kamala Khan family, which I really like in the proper context and when it makes sense for the tone of the show or the movie. But it was really difficult to take more or less seriously some of the aspects that try and fail to be more dramatic when you have Kamala Khan's mother all the time, like, you know, being so over the top. So yeah, I really like Kamala Khan's mother, I really like the whole Miss Marvel cast, but there really was no point of bringing them into space. So that was another negative point. Also, although I really like Beast, and Beast is actually my favorite X-Men character, I know, very weird, well, one of my favorite X-Men characters, that cameo was super desperate, which again, like with Carol's new personality, this was something that I liked, but at the same time it really distracted me because you could tell that this was a studio mandated decision. Well, so that was my review of the Marvels. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. And also, I also upload my reviews in Spanish in TableTenReviews, and I'm going to start releasing soon reaction videos also in TableTenReviews. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Until the next time.